So you doing all of this, and you have Golden New Studios.
Mhm.
Yeah. So when did you create this brain baby of yours? You know what I'm saying?
So Golden Studio started out as me needing a way to have a photography studio.
Okay.
I think like every photographer wants a studio. So
Right.
I wanted a studio. And at the time I was shooting out of my studio apartment. So I was just accumulating all this studio stuff in my apartment. And I was like, I need another space. So that's initially how Golden Studio started. It was just me needing a photography studio. And I literally just chose a name. And I was like, that's
Right.
what's gonna be. And then eventually I opened up the space to other photographers and I allowed them to um, utilize the equipment. And I really created a community out of that with the other photographers being there. I just thought, like, I didn't need to keep it to myself. I could share this with other photographers.
Right.
Like, it's other people that need spaces too. So I ended up sharing it. And then from there, I started to realize, I think what I want to do is build it out into more of a community. When I had the two photographers there, I was just like, I want to continue building, with people. So I started to think of ways that I can do community work within the studio, the space, because I was renting out an office space in a building in Rockville.
o-
So they had like um, a lobby area. It was, a nice space. So I was just always thinking of ways that I can build community within that space. And so
Right.
that's how it started. And I've thrown an art show there. Um, I've done a wellness pop up event. I've done a open studio event where I invited photographers and models out to network with each other. And those were some things that I had done initially. And it's just been growing organically like that. And also, I birthed this pop up booth concept out of
Yeah, that's very tough.
working out of the studio. And I think people have been seeing a lot more of my work within my pop up booths lately. And that's been pretty cool.
How do you go about choosing them themes when you pull up to like these events? Is that like, do you try to make it correlate to the event that's being thrown, or like that's just like like you come in already with the vibe that you want to set in mind? Because you be having like your backdrop and everything set, like you set the whole tone. I'm like, it's crazy because it's like, yo, that's not like how the venue or anything look. She came with a whole vibe for y'all to go capture real quick.
I brought the whole studio. So the whole
Right.
vibe is nostalgic of the late 90s, early 2000
Okay.
mall portrait glamour club
Yeah.
club photography scene.
Right.
So that's where I was inspired by those ideas for my pop-up booth. But it's grown to really work in collaboration. So like in my work, I've been
For
working with
sure.
Atmos recently, and they're a
Yeah,
clothing store.
how'd you secure that? You know what I'm saying? That little partnership that you got going over there.
So they had hit me up.
That's
Um,
dope.
they hit me up, and I was with it. It was for the first activation I did with them was for their women's pop up launch that they were having in Philly, and
Okay.
so that was the first event I did with them. And I did a few more activations with them after that. And yeah, they hit me up.
And
They
they're
had
doing
seen.
these. Are they releasing J's? Like, what are they doing like at the same simultaneously? So they're having to come in for the activation, and they drop in like shoe releases type shit at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's different activations. Like the first one was for their women's shop. So that was just geared towards them opening up this space that they wanted
Okay.
to curate for women businesses. And then
Tough.
I've
Very
done
tough.
activation with them. And that was more centered around a product release with the shoes. And so I worked with them in creating a activation that was more geared towards, the shoe and celebrating the shoe. So it depends on whatever the activation is about. I try to collaborate and build on something that kind of combines my style and whatever they're wanting, and I do it like that.
Tough.
Early.